You know, heart has been talked about for literally thousands and thousands of years as being such an important part of who we are as human beings. And heart has been talked about as certainly more than being just a blood pump. In these modern times, as we go through this era of high-speed change and the shift, it's becoming obvious that heart is now more important than ever before, and that a new understanding of heart is beginning to emerge. One that has a very applicable bottom line quality to it, useful for navigating these changing times. In Heart Math, we've for years now been doing scientific research on understanding how the heart communicates with the brain and the rest of the body. Also how positive emotional states, long metaphorically associated with heart, like love or care or compassion, appreciation, how those emotional qualities impact our health and our performance. And we found out some pretty amazing things about heart along the way that seem to validate in many ways what has been said about the heart through all these thousands of years. For example, we now know that the heart does more than pump blood. It actually is like a central processing station in the body. It sends information, it receives information, it learns, and it remembers. It actually sends powerful healing commands to the brain and to the rest of the body. And it does it in 4 ways, which I'll briefly describe now. The heart has its own nervous system, a very complex nervous system studied through a field called neurocardiology. This nervous system in the heart sends information to the brain and the head through a nerve pathway that starts out in our heart, travels up through the body, enters through the lower centers of the brain, and terminates here, all the way in the higher perceptual centers of the brain, the neocortex. And this is one way in which the heart communicates, through this neurological communication. The second way is through the blood pressure wave. The blood pressure wave is the wave of energy created by the squeezing of the heart that's actually pushing the blood through the veins and arteries. And this blood pressure wave travels throughout the entire body. When researchers look at electrical activity in our brain, they can clearly see that electrical activity is synchronizing or changing to changes in the blood pressure wave. And that's called a biophysical communication. And that's the second way at the biological level that the heart is communicating with us. The third way is biochemically. In 1983, the heart was reclassified as part of our hormonal system because it produces very powerful hormones. One of those is actually called atrial peptide. Atrial peptide has an interesting job. It reduces the release of stress hormones in the body, like the stress hormone cortisol, for example. The heart also produces oxytocin, which is generically known as the love hormone. It produces a couple of neurochemicals, neurotransmitters as well. So we have this chemical communication taking place from the heart to the body. And these are 3 hardwired biological communication pathways that we know the heart is sending information, that is talking to us, that is sending vital information to the brain and to the body. The fourth way is where it gets really interesting. You see, the heart is an electrical organ. It produces by far the strongest source of bioelectricity in our body, up to 40 to 60 times more electricity than the second most powerful source, which is our brain. This electrical energy permeates every single cell in our body. And the signal is strong enough that it actually radiates outside the skin into space, creating an electromagnetic field that surrounds us in 360 degrees. I'm not talking about an aura or about subtle energy in this context. I'm talking about very measurable electromagnetic energy, much like radio waves. This field surrounding us, as I said, in 360 degrees, radiating outside the skin into space. In my book, The Heart Math Solution, researchers reported that they had measured it 8 to 10 feet away. Other researchers say 3 to 4 feet. Regardless of distance, we are creating this field from the heart. This is part of our overall energetic system. And the field actually changes. The electrical energy in the field does change in accordance with what we are feeling emotionally. If you feel strong negative emotion, it creates what's called an incoherent spectra in the field. Frustration, anger, things like that. Conversely, when we're experiencing these wonderful positive emotions like love or care, compassion, appreciation, those kind of emotions, it can often create what's called a harmonic spectra in the field, a very coherent and ordered electromagnetic field. In this communication pathway, we move now beyond biology and the physics. The questions become quite interesting. How does my field affect the field of the brain?